How are you, boys? How are you, gentlemen?
We are good. I'm good. I'm good. I had a bit of a stint with the black screen last week. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, well, look, we had to put you on ban after some of your comments in the upcoming episode, the previous episodes.
I promise I'll be on my good behavior.
There was a positive reaction to your black screen, so we might consider it for the future.
Next time, turn your light on, man.
So, obviously, we've been fasting because of Ramadan, so we are a bit behind from a news sense.
I lost 5
I want
kilos.
to answer a question that I get asked a lot. Like, man, isn't it hard eating and drinking? Honestly, man, in my personal experience, it's
So
not
much
the
energy.
It's not the food and drink, especially with the whole intermittent fasting movement now and stuff like that. The energy thing has been proven. For me, the eating and drinking is not the hard part. For me, it's dealing with the lack of sleep. Honestly,
Nah.
because if you're up praying till late night, and then you wake up at 3 o'clock and then you pray and then you're eating, and then I don't go back to sleep after I eat, so I'm back at work, and by the time I finish, I've been working late. I've been up for a whole 13, 14 hours at the end of my shift, and obviously it's a physical job. It's been the lack of sleep that's really been making it hard for me.
Sleep is overrated, cuz.
And I'd be the biggest, thing of that. Like, I went through a big stage of my life where I was only sleeping 2 to 3 hours a night. But yeah, it's the constant wake up, go back to sleep, stay up late.
Cuz I've got tons of energy, straight up. I've lost 5 kilos.
That's good, bro.
My abs came back. I don't know. My abs.
Ab. It's one.
It's a 1-pack, bro.
No.
I'm rocking
you know what?
8,
I'm not going to
cuz.
show it
I'll
on
rock
camera, obviously, but
If you do it, I'll just
have
edit it.
No.
I'll put it up. It's like Vin Diesel's under there.
No, I've got tons of energy. Like, I'm sure all these other idiots 1400 years ago were told to fast. Obviously, the benefits with that, and then now these idiots, scientific, explanations of intermediate fasting. I do this, I do that.
But
brother, just
it
eat
was
2
more
meals
than
a day.
1400 years ago, actually, because don't want to get deep into religion, but the Quran actually states fasting has been prescribed upon you like it was for those before you. So fasting's been done for a long time,
right.
bro.
Judaism does it as well.
Yeah.
So
But-
Also with Lent and stuff like that, Christianity has their form of fasting as
to
well.
be fair, and I say this to my Christian
Lent.
friends
Don't get me
and work
started,
friends and all that, dude, Lent is easy.
Lent is so easy.
If you gave me water and bread, I can live on it for 6 months.
Oh my god.
Because it's not only that, it's something that you desire, that you think, all right, Coke Zero. But I can go, it's like...
Because
I'll drink Fanta for a month.
I know, it's like the meat aspect is like, all right, maybe I might get a little troubly maybe the last couple of days with the meat, no meat, obviously, because I can do without meat for a month.
You can eat fish, can't you?
Yeah.
I think the rule is you can't eat something that bleeds. So you can't eat fish, but you can eat things like squid, crab, things that don't bleed.
Squids don't
Please
bleed.
let me know in the comments below. From what I've been told from my
Christian
Christian friends,
us
is
know.
that if you're
It's
thinking
easy,
meat,
straight
it's
up,
easy, you can't.
no
so
offense.
prawns you could eat. Bro, imagine going on a diet where I can eat squid and prawns and crabs every night. Cause I'm living a better life. I don't eat that normally.
Yeah, bro. I got a few Christian friends, and they're like, "Oh, cause after Easter, they were cooking the barbecue. Sent me the pictures. Shout out to Joey. It was the main thing.
Joey
person.
Yakub
Showed me the little barbecues. I was like, yeah, hectic. That looks cool, bro. It's like, oh, cause I haven't eaten meat for a month. Cool, dude. I go, what else did you eat? Okay, guys, try not drinking water when I'm thirsty, especially with this smoke. Lately, Sydney's been back.
Smoke haze, yeah.
Bro, I feel like I've been smoking 50 packets in the morning when I go to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it dries up my throat. It's like I can't drink anything to lubricate my throat. So it's like, I'm stuck for 12 hours. And people want to complain.
I was in a roof for 5 hours yesterday, bro. And let me tell you, there wasn't too many people I wouldn't murder to have a glass of water.
Yeah, bro.
It was so hard in that 18-degree office.
But
well, yeah, you live a hard life. You live a hard life,
Sorry,
my
boys,
friend.
I have to say that,
but yeah, with that, a side note, people who are fat, and I'm saying fat, okay? I don't care about this whole, what do they call politically correct
okay,
world.
Bill Burr.
Fat people, yeah. You know what? I love that guy. Anyways, just stop eating. What do you reckon? It's not this, I'll tell you as a dad joke.
Die.
No, I want to tell you as a dad joke. So this guy goes to a doctor, gets his blood test done and everything, or gets tests done by the doctor. And what ends up happening is he gets his results back, and he talks to the doctor and he's like, look, obesity runs in my family. And the doctor looks at him and says, no, because actually no one runs in your family.
No, but look, you can't. Once again, I'm gonna hit up about generalization. You can't hit fat people. There's medical reasons behind why they're so big.
Like, there's probably 10% of those fat people that obviously have problem. Like, there's obviously medical problems that cause them to be like that, and I'm gonna let them go. But the other 90%, stop eating, yeah, and maybe eat right. What do you reckon?
Bro, I work hard for my money, and when I want Macca's, I want to eat it.
Brother, I want to. I haven't had a burger because I have not eaten out this whole month.
Oh, bro.
Not eating
You're
out.
missing out.
Besides getting dessert, besides getting a bit of desserts like donuts and maybe some baklava here and there. Other than that, cause I've been strict. I told the missus no cooking more than an hour, and cause we've stuck by it, and I'm happy.
I live in Granville, and every corner sells camel burgers.
Yeah,
it's
I
hard
know.
to stay away, bro. And you know what? They bring out the best camel burgers during Ramadan. Oh, on a side note, I was in Woolies. I went to pick up a few things, and I was just walking past the halal meat section, and I came across camel burger patties. So I was like, I'm going to try these. I bought the camel burger patties. Bro, they're freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if every Woolies does them. I know Granville does because it's got such a halal community. But the patties were awesome. And shout out to Reggie. He actually posted the same night that I had the camel burgers. And I was like, bro, how good are they?
Yeah.
He's like, man, I wasn't expecting much of it, but they are really good.
Yeah.
If you haven't tasted camel meat yet, guys, I suggest you go out and try it during Ramadan for our non-Muslim friends or even our Muslim friends who haven't tried it. In my opinion, it's beef with extra. Like, I just feel like it's a nicer beef. So give it a go.
It's fatty meat, yeah.
It's a lot juicier in my opinion. Yeah.
I'm getting pretty hungry. Actually, I might make a shout out to Brothers Annandale. Me and the missus made plans to go there tonight. Best chicken burgers in Sydney.
Guaranteed. It's not one of those fake.
Without a doubt. I am very picky with my food, and I have to say, the guy, he's very modest. We pretty much get on our knees and tell him how good we like we think these burgers are.
Gets on his knees.
But yeah, without a doubt, one of the cleanest shops, good service. Bit overpriced, but I think it's worth it in the end. It's due.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago there was this massive craze about chicken burgers, and everyone's like, bro, this certain shop was getting all this attention, and I was like, man, I'm gonna go try out this place. I actually went out with like Khan and stuff like that. I think I was with you that night, Inan?
Well, maybe.
I think so.
And we got it in
this styrofoam box, and it looked like someone just spat in my burger. It was like slumpy.
Like,
and
it's a decent burger. Let's not exaggerate.
In my opinion, bro, you can't stuff up a chicken burger.
Yeah,
like,
that's true
it
too.
can't be. But when I make chicken burgers at home, they're amazing. You could, but like it's very hard. Yeah, it's like chicken burger, but fake chicken.
But beef.
Because the burger is just, it's fresh, it's juicy,
bro,
it's not dry.
The best thing about it is his homemade sauce. I think is a big game changer.
I think, yeah, I agree.
He makes this chili sauce.
But then again, cause I get pineapple and egg in it.
Yeah.
You know, probably people are thinking, all right, that's where you lost me. Yeah, but
bro,
that's exactly what I said too before I tried it, and you know what? I've been hooked ever since.
I think I said to like just trust me and try the pineapple and egg, and wow,
big. You want flavor? There's nothing else in Sydney that's replicated that exact flavor.
So you're taking your kids there?
Yeah, I tried to shove them off to my in-laws, but I think they're out, so I think I'm gonna have to take them. Hopefully they fall asleep and we can have a guilty feed together.
I was trying to do a segue into our whole fatherhood thing, and it's like,
speaking of kids,
I was gonna be like, speaking of kids,
the nuisance
like,
that my kids are.
I'm gonna dump them somewhere and go out and eat.
I'm a great dad.
We'll go into this segue. I think with two kids, it's very taxing. On many levels, obviously, physically, mentally. I think lately, me and the wife. I didn't say it was right. I didn't say it was thing, but I must say, I'm sure you guys will agree. You guys are new, bro. Your kids are just you guys are still in the honeymoon stage of the kids, where it's pretty good. And one kid's easy, I must say, but it's not easy, of course. But two kids, it's just, bro, it's so taxing. Oh my god, draining.
I'm gonna say this. So I was getting a haircut from Khan, and just before my daughter was born, bro, everyone's like, bro, get your last sleep. You're not gonna sleep next 3 weeks. You're not sleeping.
Nah.
And I was saying to Khan, I'm like, bro, everything that everyone has ever said to us during even pregnancy, pregnancy is the worst, bro. Watch how moody your wife's gonna be. Watch this, watch that. I think mind frame is a big thing for me. Like a positive mind frame, and I think for my missus as well, bro. Everything that everyone told me to be scared about pregnancy, I never felt. My missus was like an angel throughout the whole thing. We didn't have any arguments. She wasn't moody. And then they were like, oh, 2 weeks, bro, you're not sleeping. Like, say goodbye to your sleep. My daughter is almost 6 weeks now. We have never whinged about sleeping. I don't know if we just have a good thing. So everyone was like, bro, your life's good in your marriage until you have a kid. We had a kid, and it's like, yeah, only 6 weeks. But everything that everyone said was going to be bad in the first 2 weeks didn't happen. So I take everything with a grain of salt when everyone's like, oh, bro, wait till you have your second kid. Wait till you have your third kid. Like, I'm not saying anything against Inan, but I just don't see that. Because obviously my dad and my mum brought up 2 kids, and I've never heard my parents whinging about us, about being parents, about like, oh, we never get time for each other. Or like with my daughter, obviously she's on like a very tight schedule at the moment. She wakes up every 2 hours. She feeds for an hour, wakes up every 2 hours. But in the last 6 weeks, my wife and I have made time to watch a movie together.
Yeah, because
we've gone out and had a meal together. Like, I know it's very new, but I just don't take in what people say. And I think Fatih said this to me very early on when we were pregnant. It's like, bro, don't listen to what people say, because your experience is very different from what everyone else is going to experience.
But can I make a side note? With all due respect, circumstance and everyone's circumstance is different. Mm-hmm. Whereas my one, I didn't get a choice. Or I never had the choice. I got married and boom, kid came along. You know what I mean?
Pretty sure you had a choice.
Yeah, no.
I'm sure
no, the choice in wanting a child to come at that time in my life. Okay, it just showed up, and I'm not complaining. Thank God. I enjoy my life. Well, I sound like a whinger, but of course I love my children. I love my children to death. But of course, there's other things in my life that I'd like to be doing, because I'm a very responsible person. I'm sure everyone can tell. I know you guys, you can vouch for me. But, with that said, I think circumstance, like people, have different, expectations. Whereas me, bro, if I didn't have my morals or my ethics, I'd be ready to go out right now. You know what I mean? How many times do I tell you, Fadi, after a game that we go together, I'm like, brother, I'm ready to go out now. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I'm ready to get, plastered and whatnot, Whereas, which my missus still can't believe, because she's like, when are you going to grow up? And I'm like, I don't want to grow up. I want to continue this figure. So it's like with all due respect, I'm sure you guys are a lot more mature than I am, to
a degree. Yeah.
To a degree, of course. But exactly. So it's like, I understand what Emin's saying, because, bro, thank God for my missus. My missus does the majority of the work. She's a stay-at-home mum, and God love her, she does everything. She still complains, which I don't like, but she's doing everything well. I mean, I live like a king at home, bro. I get my sleep. I get my minimum 6 to 8 hours, whereas she's complaining that she's got to feed the kids. You know what I mean? And
just laughing at that.
No, because my missus knows. Like, she looks at me for help, but I'm like, there's only so much I can do at night. Which is a lazy excuse for me, because I can get up maybe.
Are your kids bottle feeding or still?
No, breastfeeding.
Yeah, that's where it limits you. Yeah,
exactly. You know what I mean? So it's like, logically, I'm telling my missus, babe, what can I do 3 a.m. in the morning? Like, what do you want me to get up and run around and just play with him or something? It's like, I don't know. It's like, you just got to put up with it. Like, and as harsh as that sounds. You know what I mean? Obviously, women, you tell them something and they're like,
I like how you are going way off with this.
I know. Anyways, but yeah, like coming back to my point, I think people's expectation is different. Like, my expectation is different.
You can't get angry at men for being superior. All right, the women.
I never said that. Don't be putting words in my mouth. But yeah, of course, like. There's people who expect this, and then there's people like me who expect that, and it's just different. Obviously, like Emin said, people. But I think I'm in that category where the people complaining, saying, "Oh, you're gonna lose your sleep," blah blah blah. I was fortunate, whereas my missus took over. She took everything. Whereas I was just told to look after the kid and I'll do the rest. Where I clean the house. You know what I mean? We made that agreement, and I think I do a good enough job. On top of that, I go to work and bring money to the table. Not that I'm saying it's important, but you know what I mean? I'm willing to do that. I've sacrificed my own means. I want to go party, but I don't. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. That's the point I wanted to make there.
Which was what?
That, there's the different expectation of people. And
it definitely falls down to, everyone's scenario is different, man. Like even for us, the kid, the kid was
Well, I love how you alienate
I
him.
know. I'm conforming to the woke culture. They, it's, him, shims. Nah, it's like with my son, at the beginning stages it was good because he was sleeping pretty well. But I think because of the time that we started to sleep train him, he's sort of starting to teeth early at the same time. So that part has kicked him both at the same time. So it's sort of like for us at
Counterproductive.
like it's more like I'm trying to tackle we're trying to tackle, and mainly my wife actually is trying to tackle two scenarios at once. So then that situation affects everything. Does that make sense? While for you guys, it might not kick in yet. You know what I mean? Like her TV might kick in 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, and you got your sleeping down pat. Or it might kick in the same thing as us. Do you know what I mean? That's when it comes down to circumstantial, which is...
It's different kids too, bro. Like, there are people around me who have these angelic kids, and the parents are whinging like, "Oh my god, you don't understand how hard this kid is." Like, I used to be a teacher, man. I know what hard kids look like, and your kid is not hard. Like, I was a hard kid. I was this energetic kid that didn't stop, didn't want to sleep, didn't want to feed. Like, I was that tough kid. Whereas my daughter, like, knock on wood, she feeds well. But she was born and she latched on like amazingly straight away. She sleeps well as long as there's nothing wrong with her. You know, like, we've been really, really blessed that we've had an easy child. And that's why I don't take it for granted. I say, man, I've got a really easy kid with my daughter so far. You know, she's only 6 weeks old. And I know that there are harder kids. Like, my niece was tough. My sister wasn't sleeping much in the first few weeks. So I just don't like it being pushed upon you before you actually experience it. Like, oh, bro, you're never going to spend time with your wife anymore. You're never going to sleep anymore. Like, nah, bro. Like, you don't know what I'm going to go through. You don't know how well my wife's going to handle it. And big shout out to my missus. You're doing such a great job. Like, fantastic job with parenting. Bro, at the moment, I'm not cleaning. I'm cooking a lot of the time because my daughter has this thing where she wants to wake up when we want to eat or cook. So my wife will be like, oh, I'm going to start dinner. And then she wakes up. So I was like, babe, I'll take over and I'll cook, you know. So she's been doing a great job, and a big shout out to you. And I think a big shout out to all mums, man. Like, I didn't appreciate, like, I knew my mum did a lot for me, but you don't appreciate how much your mum actually does for you until you see your wife doing what she does for the kids, you know? Like, completely selfless. And I'm going to admit, man, in a way, I'm a little bit like Inam because I come home from work, I'm tired, I'll eat, I'll have my little one hour nap, and then it's like, hey, I want to jump on my computer for a couple of hours, or, you know, I want to go do some study, and my wife doesn't really get that option. It's like, oh, I'm eating while feeding the kid and cleaning the house at the same time. Like, she's just juggling it. So I get my little breaks as a dad.
Yeah, you women need to understand that Apex is a big thing. Okay, new season's coming out as well, so... Nah, I totally agree with you. It's
But see, you know what it is too, guys? The quality of how we look after our kids. Where there's certain parents that pump them out. They've got like 5-6 kids, and then the quality dies, and then the kids are just separated because they're doing their own things, and the parents aren't focused on it. Like, I can agree that all of us put in the decent work to look after our children. You know what I mean? But like, as much as I complain, I'm there, you know, training my child to pee in the toilet, which was stressful because it was pissing all over the place. You know what I mean? Like, that was one stressful. But now I put in enough work to the point where now, bro, he just tells me, oh, Dad, I got to pee. That's it. And he runs to the toilet. And I just got to put him on there. That's it. He's done. Yeah. And now he knows how to wash his hands. He washes his face. That's it. Like, I've pretty much trained him up to do his own thing. Whereas other people look at him and go, oh, wow, he washes his hands. Oh, he eats his food himself. Yeah. At the start, it was like my missus did 80% of that. Whereas me, I'd always lose my shit because a little bit of rice falls on the floor and I'm just instantly angry. You know what I mean? Because I'm not patient. I'm a clean freak and I hate food on the floor. And if there's a smidge on the floor, I just lose my shit to the point where I'm screaming at a kid, you know? And of course, there's regret behind it. But I think we've all been trained enough. The amount of information we've gained, like, bro, we all went through those courses for, labor. What signs to look at for your children, why they're crying, obviously, all that kind of information to know what would be wrong with our child when they cry, or what would, make this child be like this. And I think that's where it makes us, I lost my train of thought.
Advantageous?
Yes. Where we've got the advantage, because, bro, obviously we love our kids and we want it to be decent people, and obviously we're willing to put in that work to make them, who they are.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
You could like be like Dwight from The Office, where the youngest in their family looks after all the kids. So you could start training your younger son to start looking after your older son. He's got to start cooking, cleaning, and doing everything, so you have free time.
We'll just leash them all to a pole.
We do not condone that.
No, I agree. And like, to be honest, we're only dealing with, again, me and him. It's probably a bit more close. You're ahead of the game at the moment.
Yeah, his kids are having kids.
You're going to college soon.
No, like it's hard. It's hard, but it's because like people, I think they just exaggerated a bit because, you know, 1 or 2 times. People, obviously, we all have our agendas and we want to get things done because obviously, you know, we've got careers, we've got things we want to get complete. Like we've got all these other things, and children, because it's like you can't. It's like you've got to focus on your child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys can agree with me. You kind of be like, all right, I've got to sacrifice my time now to look after these little punks, you know, and you kind of, and I don't know, me personally, it's like, it gets a little frustrating. Personally, like me, I'm going to be upfront. I get frustrated because like, bro, I could be doing this. I could be playing Apex, or I could be studying this certain thing that I want to do because, you know, it's interesting, but I can't because I've got to look after these guys. You know what I mean? And when I say look after, it's not that I got to babysit them. I've got to talk to them. I've got to teach them. You know, like I'm teaching my son how to count. I'm teaching my son, you know, why I pray.
You know how to count?
Yeah.
1, 2, 8, 6, 4.
7,
You
8.
know what I mean? Like, you know, I see other parents that just sit there, they get home, it's like automatically straight to bed. You know what I mean? Like, I've had enough, I'm tired, I can't do it with these guys, they've got to go to bed. You know what I mean? They sit the routine there, but I think the relationship they have with their kids is not on par.
Because putting them to bed, in my opinion, is better than putting them in front of an iPad for 4.5
Of course,
hours.
yeah.
And the kid just like,
But like, nah,
My game's my
the point I'm trying to make is you're trying to develop a relationship, you know what I mean, with your child. You're trying to teach them because in the end of the day, as parents, bro, we're the role models, we're the teachers. You can't just expect them to go to school and go, yep, oh, what did you learn today? You know, oh, all good, you got that covered. Like,
oh, so you know how to invest and you know, you know how to read charts and stuff like that.
I don't know. Me personally, I feel like I can't guide them completely, but I've got to be that person to look after them and teach them the ways of this world. You know what I mean?
Well, speaking about that, I came across an article today. Okay, and I don't know if Emin or maybe his wife might know because it's involved with the current the national curriculum and they want to change it and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the one that I've read now, I don't know whether this is being pushed through or not. So the article states, like the headline, Aussie kids won't learn to tell time until year 2 and no timetables until the age of 9.
Wow.
So telling time till year 2. So what's that? Telling time is what? He's age 7?
Because I'm teaching my kid, he's 3 years old. I'm teaching him what time it is. Like I've put in basis, like he plays PlayStation car games and I'm like 5 minutes. I show the big hand. I'm like 2. When he hits the 3, 5 minutes done, finish, close. And he's like, okay.
That's good.
You know what I mean?
Time is such an abstract thing, bro. Like when we're counting apples and oranges, they're actually physical things. Whereas time is something that humans have made up, right? There's nothing that you look in the sky and be like, yeah, it's 4:30 p.m. You can make a guess,
sun.
but no, you can make a guess, but that is a time that
a number.
Yeah, I agree.
that's a time that's a
make
number
sense.
that we've put to that time. Like, why isn't 5 p.m. 11 a.m.?
But maybe
you know what I mean? Like,
they
it's
whenever the sun is the highest, that's 12 o'clock.
yeah, that's what they did. But it's still it's a human thinking of obviously not at an infant
That's a
level
trip out,
going
yeah.
at that time it's going to be 12 and we're going to go back. Like, why is a second a second?
Yeah, that's true.
Why is a
Like,
minute
who
60
came up
of
with
those
like,
seconds?
all right, you know
You know
what?
what? It's
I declare
because
now 1 o'clock.
Someone, yeah, like someone. It's
Yeah,
such
I
an
never thought
abstract
about that.
thing.
That's
But
interesting.
with multiplication, it's interesting because when I was teaching, kids in kindy were learning to count. Where even though it was with like materials like counters or they're using little teddy bears, they're counting. And the hardest thing for a child was they know how to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But seeing 3 bears to them was like, how many bears are there? And they'll be looking at it like, I don't know. Where they don't understand that 1 represents 1, 2 represents 2, 3 represents 3. And where I'm going with this is that you slowly introduce that multiplication is just addition over and over again. Like when you think about it, 3 times 3 is just 3 plus 3 plus 3. You know, you're doing it 3 times. It'll be interesting to see why they wait until they're 9 years old when addition and multiplication, in my opinion, is a very like
I learned that in kindergarten.
open. Yeah, right. At Shooter, we were doing PhDs in year 4.
Because when you're 9 years old, what year are you in?
When I was 9 years old.
Year 3?
Year 4.
Because the earliest memories I had, I was learning
Yeah, year 3 or year
multiplication
4.
in year 3.
Oh, bro, we were learning we were playing around the world in year 2.
Because in year 4, I built a solar system. Like, I'm not even gonna bullshit that, bro.
Oh,
But
no.
yeah, like I understand for things like decimals and stuff like that. If you want to introduce that later, because kids really struggle with that. Multiplication is just addition over and over again. I don't know why you'd push it. So I don't know. Are we dumbing down our kids now?
We are.
like
I
we
feel
are.
like we are. Yeah.
I feel like we're done. Like,
That's why
I feel like we're trying to take I feel like because this time and we're in a more sensitive era.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll
exactly.
take that. So I feel like for everyone to catch up all at once,
Yeah.
we're gonna
So
push
the-
everything
It's
back.
never gonna
We're-
happen. We don't live in an ideal society, man. Like everyone learns at different paces. One kid who's not good at English, for example, is excelling in maths.
Yeah, but
and-
we've got to walk as slow as our slowest person.
Because
Why though? You
That's
just
society.
so then you're gonna have a whole heap of people who finish in year 12 who've all got an 8-hour equivalent of 50 because they all walked at the same pace. But there's always gonna be difference. That's why the whole thing about education, the hardest thing about being a teacher is differentiating. Is teaching addition to Johnny who doesn't know how to count counters yet, and to Max who's doing 3-digit addition now. That's the hardest part about being a teacher is differentiating so that everyone's getting. But everyone's going to work at the same pace. You can't put everyone at the same pace.
Because
It's
this is where I
unrealistic.
coming back to my point, the importance of the relationship between a parent and their children is you shouldn't have to tell me if you agree or not, but relying on the education system in this country to teach your children, like I see myself having to do this myself, where
Yeah.
it's like,
Bro, definitely. In terms of bro, we don't understand, for example, how much literacy affects mathematics, right? And this is sort of touches on Fatih and my education younger. Bro, you could say 8 times 7 and we're going to say 72 in, a fraction of a second, right? But if you said I bought oranges, there's 8 in a box and I bought 7 oranges, to understand the literacy behind
Yeah.
it, they've lost it because all they've done is memorize what 7 times 8 is, right? Where was I going with this? So when a child's literacy is low, they're generally struggling across all areas of learning. So we used to say to the parents, like, dude, we have an hour of literacy hour every week, and that's all we can do. And man, I can't read with 30 kids at once. So you group them. You have 5 kids for a 10-minute session, then you have another 5 kids for a 10-minute session, and you might have them 3 times a week. So they're reading with me for half an hour a week. The reading time that they have at home to develop their literacy, bro, is way more than all the hours that we do literacy at school. So definitely, you sitting down with your kid and even reading them a book, reading with your kid at home, bro, the 10 minutes you do at home is going to be massive because you're almost doubling up how much reading they've done during the day. You know what I mean? So yeah, you can't rely completely on the education system for your kid to be reading at a great level.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
but that's where it comes to my other point. You've got these other parents who are too focused on their careers, who are dumping their kids at childcare for like 12 hours.
But they're getting education there too, bro.
Of course, yeah, but I mean, so much because. Oh yeah, fair enough. I don't know. It's a bit.
I think the big factor for me when it comes to the education system is going to be, how do I say this without sounding like a fuckwit? The confliction between
gonna be hard.
Yeah, I know. Especially for me.
Oh wow, that was really fuckwitty of you to say that.
The confliction of what a school teaches and what a household teaches. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
As in, because now we know that the current education system, whether it comes to society or culture or biology, starts to teach what's more accepted from a society perspective.
Yes.
And in the household might disagree.
Yes.
I think that's where the biggest challenges are going to come to the children.
Definitely. I'm teaching my kids that the earth is flat no matter what the school teaches you.
Earth is a triangle, and we're all going to teach them it's a triangle.
Oh,
when you get to
man.
the top, you just jump.
Just sitting there
Yeah,
talking
look,
about conspiracy.
when we were in the car with Inan, he was talking about
My
how
dad said
he's-
rabbits are bullshit.
rabbits don't exist and they do lay eggs. Inan was talking about his younger son and how he's so curious. Bro, what we don't understand is that kids are learning all the time.
Yeah.
Not just in an educational, facility, not just at childcare. They're learning all the time. Bro, when your son picks up a soccer ball and throws it at a wall and starts to understand that it bounces this way or it comes
understands
this
the
far when I
physics.
put this much force. Yeah, he's learning physics, bro, on a very little level he is. And, eye to hand coordination.
Yeah.
Learning is happening 24/7. It's your job as a parent to facilitate that
That's
learning.
right.
Oh, did we go Macca's? All right, I'm going to give you $1. Go and buy yourself a soft serve. Start talking. How much do you think you're going to get? Is this enough to buy a soft serve? How much are they going to give you back? How much more do I need to give you to buy a sundae now? Like, it's all this. I'm big for real world learning, bro. Yeah. Don't teach a kid that 50 cents take away from a dollar is 50 cents. Teach them in real life. Go to a shop and get them to buy 50 cents worth of lollies. Get them to buy, get them to weigh the apples and be like, son, I want you to weigh 1 kilo of apples. That's how much we're buying. Put it on the scale. Dad, it goes to 1.2. And when I remove this, it's 900. Then he's learning that, man, we can't have an exact 1 kilo. Otherwise, we'd have to cut the apple to get exactly a kilo. You're teaching them real world maths, bro.
We're teaching the kid how to run a convenience store.
And then he's going to be Apu from The Simpsons.
No, real world scenario is 100% better. I totally agree with you. And especially from the sense of like small things that schools don't teach. Like even when it comes to we're talking about maybe the early stages, even later stages when it comes to, what is a bank? Like, do you know what I mean? When you go to a bank, it's a raw. When you go there, what do you expect? Like, what is, like, you got to start we don't teach kids this, where it's like, what's a loan?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you start seeing this stuff on the news, or if you start seeing this on posters and stuff like that, what are they actually talking about?
Yeah.
Because when they get to a certain age and it's like their friends are driving cars, or it's like, oh, I went and took out, they're going to be like, oh, that sounds great. But they don't know the advantages and the disadvantages.
That's right,
Do you know what I mean? Like the system that teaches that.
Bro, I think in finances, especially in our era of growing up, bro, we weren't taught much,
No.
Like, you learned compounded interest in maths when you're doing 3-unit maths. And it's like, oh, man, look how much the money goes up. Yeah, dickhead, that's how much you're paying back. Like, they're not teaching you, like, how this applies to your life financially.
You know, there was this fun... we used to have this Turkish class in Auburn Public where I used to go to a thing. And the teacher, I think we were in year 1, year 2, and the teacher was like, oh, I need money to do this. He's like, yeah, just go to the bank and pull it out. This is how simple-minded these kids were. We thought we just go to an ATM. Oh, money comes out. You just press a button. Yeah, money. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's true, man.
For a kid's mind, that makes a lot of sense, bro. They just see their mum and dad.
But at that time, I was like, yeah, just do that, dickhead. Like, what are you complaining about?
Like my nephew, bro. My nephew and I got into like Hot Wheel collecting. I don't know if I've explained this on the show before, but he'd come over and be like, oh, I bought a new Hot Wheel. I'll be like, that's awesome. We check it out, and he's like, oh, now I have like 85 of them. He's like, how many do you have, uncle? I'm like, over 1,000. And he looks at his dad. He's like, why does he have 1,000 and I only have 81? And then his dad's like, I can't afford to buy that many Hot Wheels. And he's like, yeah, so why don't you work harder? Like, that was his response. Like, this kid was like 7, 8 years old, Tura, my nephew.
Cracked him.
He's like, just why don't you work harder then? Does that mean my uncle's working harder than you? It's like, no, dude, I don't have kids to feed, so I can buy as many Hot Wheels as I want.
No, it's gonna be fun times. Well, on relation to the national curriculum as well, students will be taught about respectful relationship, abuse, consent, and sexting.
Awesome. Good. I completely agree. Even sexting, bro. You'd be surprised. Oh my god, I experienced something that kids were doing in my class, and I was traumatized from. They were sexting in primary school, bro.
That's standard now.
How?
I'm not going to get into the details about it. It was very confrontational, especially as a male teacher. But
what? I thought you went when you were a child.
No, because when I was teaching.
What phone were you using? I'm like, just, those wind-up phones, like...
Hey.
No.
Hey.
But yeah, I completely agree with it because, bro, you're not teaching kindy kids to not sext. You're teaching kids at an age where they're vulnerable to this stuff, and they need to understand that, bro. Especially now, it's scary because one sext gets put onto a slideshow and you're on freaking Pornhub for the next 55 years. You know what I mean? Like, not at that age, obviously, because it's illegal, but later in life and what implications it can have. And we sort of touched up on this when we did that whole mum who was on the OnlyFans and stuff like that and what impact it has. Bro, we're in a digital society where things that go online now are very hard to come down.
Bro, I regret some of the bullshit I say on here. Like, and I'm like, bro, my kids are going to watch this one and they think, bro, my dad was such an asshole.
You called them a punk a couple times tonight, bro. They're gonna,
bro. If you know me, like I say that as like I don't know, as a joke. I know I shouldn't be saying, but anyways. And the point I'm trying to make is, like, if I regret stupid shit I say, and you got these mums, going naked and doing all these other, inappropriate stuff. Yeah, of course, but are you willing to sell yourself for a certain
Wheels.
price.
Some more Hot Wheels. Hey, Dad, why don't you get an OnlyFans?
All right, Mum, get to work.
In Untitled, I'm pretty sure.
My uncle's making money just by taking his shirt
I'm
off.
pretty sure that there's gay men out there for your uncle to get you more Hot Wheels.
But I don't know. It's scary. To be honest, me personally, I'm scared because I have to go through this now. Like, what am I going to do? Like, do I inhibit my kids from, progressing with technology because I'm scared that he's going to do the shit that these other kids are doing? And now I've got to put them through a process of something they don't really understand the concept of, if you touch a girl, you need to ask her for permission before you do this. You know what I mean? It's like, at what age are they planning to do this?
Because they're making out
What's the minimum age?
I don't know.
16?
But, bro, did you kiss your
legally,
first
legally.
girl?
So
when
what
you
do
were
I-
16?
Legally,
Oh,
legally
I
16,
don't know.
I think.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
This
That's scary, bro. I don't think me personally, in terms of anything to do with sexual, I don't know, things, I don't think it was until maybe year 8, year 9.
I'm going to give an example. So, Fatih and I went to an Islamic school, quite sheltered, all right? And we didn't get the whole sex ed
Islamic?
thing. No, I don't know. Look, it can be argued what the school was. But it was a private school and we didn't get sex education. I left there in year 4. Now, when I was teaching in stage 2, which is year 3 and 4, they were getting sex ed, right? But I remember being out on the street and we were playing football and one of the boys was like, oh, your mum and dad had sex. That's why you were born. And I was like, nah, bro, God put me in my mum. It's like, that's gross, bro. What are you talking about? Like, that's something that rude people do. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have an understanding of it. Now, putting myself into if I was to be a girl and if I grew up that naive and sex is a thing that you do for fun, right? Bro, the first penis that comes into me, I'm pregnant and I've got a kid when I'm in year 7. You know what I mean? So that's why sex ed is something that I never object to. They should be. Bro, it's not like they're shown pornos and, introduced into it. By that stage, they sort of have an understanding that boys and girls get together, blah, blah. I think that teaching them and educating them is a good way of not having 12-year-old parents who are still attending school and they've made stupid mistakes because they didn't understand the risk of it.
Yeah. And it's also the teaching aspect as well. Like, when we went to Arthur Phillip, it was year 7, I think it was, that we all got the whole PDHP, the sex education.
Yeah,
I think
you got the letter, and then you had to take. I remember giving it to my mum. I was like, "What's this?" She's like, "Oh, you're gonna learn about the you know how you keep asking
bees and the honey.
the birds and the bees."
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, you finally get to know that," because I always used to ask her. You know how on American
Yeah.
TV shows, she's talking about the birds and the bees, and I'm like, "What the fuck is the birds and the bees?" And it was like, "Oh, you're finally gonna get to learn." And I had a slight idea, not full, and then I just realised obviously they were showing things going into places and whatnot. And then you realise, oh, okay, this is what it was. But looking back, it's not like I go, all right, that's it, I know. And I was looking to the girl next to me going, all right, you ready to do this? You know what I mean?
You gonna try this?
We have an assignment now.
You know what I mean? I don't know. It's a bit weird. Like if they're planning to do this at like year 2, year 3, when my kid is just like learning to pee by himself now, you know what I mean, without me.
See, yeah,
Bro, but see, sex ed, sorry, Fatih,
Yeah.
at year 2 and year 3, if it is introduced, it's not like, bro, this is penetration, this is how you have a baby. It's more teaching like, bro, this is your genitals and these are private things.
Yeah.
Like, we don't show them, we don't let anyone touch them. Bro, in all honesty, all you're doing is making life safer for your kid because he
Yeah, fair
understands, man, if that man at the corner shop's touching my penis, it's not right.
Well, to a degree, like it's really it's a really two-ended sword here.
Yeah.
If you actually think about it, like
Yeah.
to teach sexting, you have to teach what sexting is.
Exactly.
What that relates to is sex.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this all falls down to how they're going to teach it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and what I was trying to say from when we learned to was
We didn't have a phone or cameras.
We
No,
didn't
no,
have
no,
sexting talks. Everyone
no,
was sending nudes.
not from that aspect. When we were watching the video or the information that was provided to us, it was so outdated. Do you know what I mean? It was so corny. It was so stupid.
It was almost comedic.
That's right. It was
Did
almost.
you guys watch a video with a rubber duck? Please tell me you did.
I can't
can't
remember.
remember.
The video.
I can't
dead set
remember anything.
the video. But what I'm trying to get at is, if they don't teach the kids right now, what's the kids going to do? They're going to want to learn it based on what they currently want to learn it now. Do you know what I mean? Like, now these kids, they're not dumb. Do you know what I mean? Kids know what YouTube is. Kids know what
Pornhub is.
Case study,
no,
guys.
they're gonna put in
Pornhub.
their penis. They don't know how to use Google by that age.
Yeah,
They're gonna go penis, beer, birds, bees, whatever. It's gonna come up because they click away. They're just gonna click away.
Find themselves on BBC.
Find themselves somewhere.
Why does
on the
mine
internet.
not look like that?
Why is his not like that? No, it's just like they could go into a massive rabbit hole from there.
So you're
Yeah,
saying that it's gonna,
exactly.
you know,
It's gonna open
it's
up
gonna
their
think
curiosity.
yeah.
Yeah,
But cause as if there wasn't that curiosity.
but we lacked tech.
Yeah, we did.
We lacked massively tech. Like for us to, especially again in Australia, our internet was not the greatest. The amount
Because
of
it took
stuff,
like 5 minutes to upload a JPEG.
you know what I mean?
That's the struggles we had, people.
And it used to come down in stages.
We had to go to the library for Pornhub. It's just there's just so much like now it's just pat. Not only that, it's on YouTube. You can find it on TikTok. You can
TikTok,
find it on
bro.
anything.
Yeah, but see, that's where it comes into our earlier talk, in my opinion, about the whole parenting thing,
That's
right?
right.
Do you have a lock on your computer that, you know, censors anything that's PG or above? You know what I mean? Is your TV done that way? With technology, so does censorship come in. And bro, we might not use it, and we're not used to it. But for example, when my nephew or my niece come over, bro, they're not watching my Netflix. They're watching Netflix Kids, because I don't want them to go into something that they think YouTube is a whole new board game. Some of the stuff that they don't censor out is ridiculous, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's where it comes into, bro, don't leave your iPad for your kid to watch for 4 hours where they're allowed to click on anything and, you know, explore what the internet has to offer. Well, obviously they're going to type in penis into YouTube, and the smallest thing they're going to get out is those little winky winky bum bum poo poo. Those videos, they're going to come up because they're not censored. You know what I mean? So we can't just rely on the education system for the whole thing. If your kid's getting curious about it, yeah, look, a kid's going to work out a way. Man, I used to go to the news agency and read fucking motorbike magazines because they had topless girls in
Yeah,
them.
same. Hot
You know what I
fours.
mean? Like,
Hot fours, and I used
your
to
kid's
read the
gonna find
interview
some
for the
way to
models.
do it. And when they get to that age, at least it's not gonna be like a whole freak out thing where they're gonna go stick their penis in every
it's
hole they
inevitable,
find, you know?
bro.
It's gonna happen, bro. It's human nature. You turn 8, you get your first boner, and you're like, oh, what do I do with this now?
But see, this also opens up another topic then, which you hit on the head, which is preventing your kids from accessing certain things. When it comes down to us now as parents, how comfortable do you feel for you to go head to head with a kid regarding technology?
You're never gonna stop it, bro.
But
I'm at an
that's what I'm saying.
understanding of it.
But don't get me wrong. There's stopping it and there's an understanding. But I also genuinely know that there's a lot of people who genuinely do not understand how pretty much internet connection works. Do you know what I mean? On how to actually use a firewall, how to block these things. They just think, oh yeah, just download an app, and then that's it. The kid's gonna just use this app, and then that, oh, YouTube Kids is on there. He's using YouTube Kids. Man, these kids are gonna slowly start to figure out and go, what about if I press this button? Where does this take
Google how to avoid the firewall, or
that's
how
right.
to
How
out
to
of
watch adult YouTube. Do you know what I mean? And it will give them a step by step.
Yeah.
And it's like, then it falls down onto the parents. How much education does the parents have to go, I need to then prevent them from doing this. I need to sort of outsmart them from doing this.
Okay, I've got a solution. It's old, but it's effective. You give them a backhand.
Well, he's just gonna watch the video with a red face. Then.
And you know, you know what's going to go on Google? How to contact child services.
Oh yeah, they get that taught that.
It's been
too,
used
bro.
for thousands of
Can't
years.
touch me.
It's still effective.
It's like, Dad, I'm leaving. There's the door. Leave. Don't come back.
And if you do, make sure you've bought 15 Ethereums.
So yeah, like that type of stuff really does matter, because I can guarantee there's a lot of parents who are not they're not ready for that.
Yeah.
They're not ready
It's
for
scary.
the tech.
To be honest, for me, it's scary. That's one thing that probably scares me the most.
Bro, tech moves so fast that,
Yeah.
bro,
Yeah.
I feel outdated. And I'm someone who's constantly working with tech, whether it's my computer, I'm constantly on my phone, trying to keep myself up to date. But these kids are exposed to, imagine sitting in a class with 15 other boys who are trying to corrupt the system and trying to use, their mum's phone to watch porn.
they'll figure
They're
it
going to
out.
work it out, and he's going to tell his mate, I'm at an understanding that you're never going to stop it completely. But here's the thing that I want to stop, right, is risk management. Yeah? Yeah, he or she can watch a video of a porno, right? but does she understand or he understand that actually doing this act can have complications for them?
So, yeah.
Are they gonna, end
That's
up
right.
with a kid? Are they gonna end up, heartbroken and just used? I'd rather them have that understanding and know that, man, all right, it's one thing for me to watch it. It's another thing for me to act upon it. And there's a potential that I'm going to get hurt or something that I'm not happy with is going to come out of this, So I don't think that I'm ever going to outsmart my kid with technology. I'm going to get to a point where I'm one of those old men who are like, I don't know how to use this, because we're going to have 4D projections in our living rooms and stuff like that. But if they understand through the education system that there are consequences for your certain actions, then that is honestly the best that you can do, and reinforce that for them to, hey man, if I make this choice, this can happen, And what else can you do besides, handcuffing them so they're not doing anything and keeping them at home? You're never going to stop it. And it's not just pornography. This comes into like drug education, You can go and pick them up from school and bring them home, but there's nothing saying that he's not going to purchase drugs from some kid who's getting it in the toilets at school. You know what I mean?
Or what they're purchasing.
Or what they're purchasing, exactly. I'm a firm believer that risk management, let's stop really bad things happening, and these small things like you watching a video you're not supposed to be watching, let's just let that slide.
Tackle the bigger problem.
Yeah.
You just tell them, let me try it first, and if it's good, I'll let you have it.
What do you mean?
Give it to Dad first, then we'll see.
All right,
trial it.
Dad, my boyfriend wants to try this. Let me try him first.
All right, give me that strap on. It's like, that video on TikTok? It's like the dad comes out, kids throwing a party. that video is a kill me, man. That is, I do believe there's a lot that's gonna come up. Obviously, going back to our original topic, which was the
scares the shit out of me, but
which part? All of it.
All of it, man. Like,
of it, yeah,
obviously, you want your kid to not get wound up in drugs. You want your kid not to be, like an alcoholic at the age of 14. You don't want your kid to have even their heart broken, bro, to be in a relationship and then, because I know what it felt like being a teenager and having your heart broken, you're depressed for like 3 months and like you get no joy at it. I don't ever want my kid to go through that. Is there a learning experience for them if they do go through it? Are they going to go for it? 100% they are. And they're going to come out on the other side way different. Man, every bad relationship that I've ever been in has taught me something. And whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, like it taught me this is what, women like, and this is how they like to be treated. They like to be surprised by, a surprise dinner. And those things you take on board. And then to tell them that they're cooking shit is obviously something that they don't like. So that's something that you bite your tongue and you eat the crappy food and,
Start writing.
It's
they
the truth.
It's
the truth.
They don't like that they're cooking
But
shit.
everything teaches you something. Like my kid getting hurt is going to teach them something. And you learn more from your mistakes than you do from your success.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm never going to stop it. I'm never going to make it a perfect world for her. I would never be against sex education in the school system because obviously they're not going to be teaching them, okay, this is anal and this is how you do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're teaching them how to be safe with sex.
Oh, well, you got to spread the lead.
Right.
And always spit.
They go to Woolies. And it's like, all right, first you need to get this. This is lubrication.
First, you got to get it warmed up, mate.
First you got to get the power. When you get the power, then you get the money.
And then you get the condom and you put a hole in it because the frill's so much better.
Hopefully, look again, but you know what the funny thing is? Like we're all discussing this now, and what are we in 2021?
I'm
And it's
probably
like
going to have to be figuring out. I gotta
5 years from now, it'll change again and again and again.
Nah,
and
not even.
again.
I'm probably going to have to discuss with my son why he thinks he's a fucking woman. You know what I mean? Fuck me dead. All the bullshit that's going on. Oh, Dad, my friend says that he's a woman, but he's got the dick. You know, like, what do I do? I'm confused. Like, am I the same? Son, come here. Don't fucking listen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't worry about sex education. I got to worry about fucking these idiots with their... Anyways, that's another... Let's leave that for another time. Fuck, we did.
No, look, I agree. It's
Bro,
not from
Your
the
son ever comes up
what's
to
that,
me.
that girl that
Elliot
changed...
Page.
Bro, I saw the article. She was like, oh, I see myself in the mirror and like I see joy. And I'm like looking at you and go, bro, I see disgust. Like, obviously, that's my natural, what do you call it? Reaction. But I'm just like, come on, bro. You don't see joy in this. Come on. Surely you're a little confused right now.
Bro, see, I
You know what I
agree
mean?
with Inan in this. Bro, if you want to become a transgender and you want to change your gender when you're 18, 19 years old, yeah. But for like a little kid to be doing this, I'm completely against.
That's where,
Bro,
like, I'm
this
just
kid doesn't know
confused.
if he wants to have a Kit Kat or a Mars bar when I take him to the supermarket, and you want to all of a
Always
sudden,
kick out.
and you want to all of a sudden choose like what gender you want to be or what sex you want to be. I think that, look, people are going to argue and be like, oh, you want a kid to live 15 years knowing that he's not happy inside his body. I don't know, man. I think that you're too young to be making choices like that. It's like giving a choice of, what tattoo they're going to get when they're 6 years old. Bro, he's going to hate it when he's 18 because it's probably going to be a Pikachu on his, I don't know, on his stomach, and it's going to look dumb.
Why? My argument is if you're granting that, why can't they vote?
Exactly. It's like
my
it's just
Because they don't, that's right. They don't have the mental capacity, the thinking to be able to vote or make decisions like that.
That'll probably change soon. Kids are now
I
allowed
don't
to
know.
vote.
Don't
You're
give
gonna
me
see all
no
these kids at
bullshit.
polling
Oh,
booth.
you don't understand what it feels like
you
to
know
be
what'll
a
be?
man and feel like a woman, and look at yourself in the mirror and say, I think like a woman. It's like,
Man, I feel like a woman. What's going to happen is they're going to let kids vote, okay? And every kid vote is going to be equivalent of half an adult vote.
Right.
And then there's going to be a movement of kids wanting equality.
You've been-
And it's going to start all over again.
You've been hanging around cryptographs too much.
I can't remember where I read this or where I watched this, but
the internet.
something, maybe most likely, but
Pornhub.
like something in regards to when certain signs of a civilization ending is when.
That's false. I read that article. That
Nah,
was false.
I can't remember if it was
Is
an
when
article.
what?
When it
It's
relates
like
to gender.
no, sir, like when. Is
So
it
certain
sexual-
civilizations, the fall of
the
civilization.
decline of situation. Like think
falls
about
out to
America,
gender.
bro. Like it's ridiculous. Like now, instead of talking about important issues like coppers killing everyone that they see now, I'm not even going to go into black people because, maybe it is black. I don't know, bro. That's another
I
issue on its
believe
own.
it is two separate scenarios. in
No.
this. Yes.
Actually, I may be wrong in what I'm trying to
It's like
state.
saying America's not racist.
But I think Australia now, like you're focusing on this. There's nothing else to focus on but to decide whether kids can decide whether they're a fucking woman or a man. You know what I mean? I think you hit it on the head on the nail, or the nail on the head.
Head on the
No, you
nail.
hit the head on the nail.
Headbutting the nail.
But I think society, well, especially in our society now, we have unnecessary shit that we got to think about it. That we've got to focus on unnecessary shit, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
know what I
no,
mean?
I agree.
Like we're not, we're good with our TVs, our Netflix, our food's good. Take out blah blah blah. Whereas now we've got to preoccupy ourselves with these unnecessary situations. But like, of course, there are mentally ill people out there, and that's what I'm going to call them, because I'm not going to sit here and be, they're logical people, because they're not. All right, maybe that's a reach. I'm going on a limb here, but regardless, I'm going to end this with this. Yeah, I'm just going to end it with this. So I'm going to go in there. Yeah, leave it like that.
So there are mental people
No,
out
no.
there.
Yeah,
That's all we
they're
got out
mentally
there.
ill.
You know
But
what
like,
Inan's starting to
obviously,
sound
certain
like? Joe
trauma. Certain trauma and blah blah, like set in.
You sound like Joe Biden's Congress speech right now.
Oh,
Cause
he's another
I was watching
scumbag.
it today.
Yeah.
What you got? Anyway. Okay, fine.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna wake up, and yeah,
I love. There was one I came across, and it's like, if you want to do something right, you gotta.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm like, bro, like you're only the leader of the strongest country in the fucking world.
exactly, you don't need to fucking talk shit,
Yeah, right.
right? That's all I had to
And
say.
then everyone
Interpret the
stands
way
up.
you want it.
Woo!
That's it.
You did. You did good. It's like when you got that old person in your family and they try to like, come on, it's time for bed now. Like just trying to guide them away.
I swear
Right.
to God, we need to make a GIF of Fatih saying you did good, and this thing will
NFT.
explode.
I want to
It will
make an
explode.
NFT.
Did good.
Going on to a side talk, how do we make NFTs? I really want to make them.
NFT.
Yes.
Because
Because I saw, that burning house and the girl looking like this,
Yeah.
like that. She sold a NFT for like, I might be
You
mistaken.
can actually sell anyone's NFT cards.
But I was like, how did
There's
she
no
sell her
copyright to
own
it.
one? Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I can make my own. Surely I can get a couple of $1,000 for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Something that's massive.
But what do I do? Do I just, how do I go about that?
You have to make it. There's a certain file type, or there's a certain element to it that you have to make it. But it's also, It's where you sell it, and you have to store it on a blockchain for you to sell it. That's you have to actually pay quite a bit of money for you to sell it to begin with, but it's a massive boom in the economy that it's also a massive bubble, man. Like,
because don't you copyright it once you've established it as an NFT? So how do you develop income, or how do you get people to pay for it?
You sell it like art. NFT is digital art. It's non-fungible tokens. It's literally digital art. Like Khabib's making his own ones. I saw the WWE make his own one. What's massive is NBA NFTs.
Because can't I just go Google search whatever he puts up anyways? Like I can go Google search that meme girl and go, I looked at it, hectic. I did it for free.
The difference is the value behind it. Do you know what I mean? Like you can go and make your own Pokemon card. Do you know what I mean? Say hypothetically there's no copyright, for example, yeah? You can make your own Pikachu Pokemon card, and then Pokemon makes their own Pokemon card. Who's they gonna buy? They're gonna buy the authentic ones. When they release NBA ones, they're gonna want to buy the NBA card. They're not gonna buy some shit organization's one.
So I should do an Andrew Johns NFT.
And NRL has not started this at all. But the thing about it is, your crowd limit is quite small, like of our NRL.
But I've secured it, so they're gonna be like, oh, but this is the first Andrew Johns. I got something special there. I'm the first guy.
If you start making really good ones, or you got to approach Andrew Johns or whoever you want to do it about it. I want to make an NFT.
Get on board. I'll give you a cut.
Yeah, and it has to be very iconic. Like I think it was
when he got caught in Britain with pingers.
No, him dominate that, like a small little 2-second highlight reel of him that State of Origin game, and when he came back injured and he fucking dominated. But what you can do is you can make your own NFTs. Do you know what I mean? You make your own one that has no relevance to anything besides.
Didn't you say you were gonna make one of something I said, or the chili challenge, which I'm ready to do again. I think I've built up a tolerance. All this fasting, all I feel like is I just want to eat chili, straight up.
I feel like if you ate it opening your fast, you'll be dead.
Like I'm talking like these little like pickled chilies. You know what I'm talking about? They're pretty hot, yeah.
Yeah. I really want to.
I'm taking them down by themselves now.
The yellow ones, the little yellow ones.
Yeah, the little yellow ones. They're like little rockets.
I want to do the actual hot ones. I want to actually get the chicken. And
yes, I was gonna say I'll cook the chicken myself, and I'll bring the chicken in, and we'll eat it. Yes or no?
Yeah, I'll eat it.
And we'll do it with a guest. We'll do it with a guest.
It should be a bit easier.
Yes, I agree. That corn chips.
Actually, no. I should say this.
Maybe we can get some flavor.
I think it'll be a lot harder spice-wise because it's marinated into the chicken, but the taste will be 10 times better.
Yes,
because there's chicken.
Because no chicken, you're not having it straight. You know what I mean? Like this is generally for cooking.
Yeah.
Like we took a.
Oh, you want to marinate it with the sauces?
It has to be.
I think you'd cook the spice out of it. Like you dilute it a bit.
I have no
in my
idea.
opinion.
I have no idea.
Like it'd be nice, but it wouldn't be as hot as we usually take it
the
straight.
guys on the Hot Ones challenge, they really get pretty.
Because I think they just cook the chicken and then they blab the sauce on.
What's the difference then?
We just like you're trying the chicken with the sauce rather than marinating. Like I'm sure it'll come out hectic if it's marinated.
We can try it,
but you dilute the spice. In my opinion,
we'll let another game. There's a few games in our head that we're trying to figure out. So we'll try to
stay tuned, guys.
We'll do that after Ramadan.
I'm willing to go the distance. I'm willing to challenge myself. I feel like I watched the last chili challenge. I want to say I'm a bit ashamed of myself because I could have handled myself a lot better. But I'm still happy with how I handled it.
Oh, you're funny.
But stay tuned. We got some stuff in the works. So yeah.
Yeah, it was good catching up with you boys.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and happy fatherhood. Yeah.
Happy fatherhood.
Yeah,
happy Mother's Day. Mother's Day is like next week.
Up, yeah. Show appreciation to your mum, guys.
Mums, yeah.
Show appreciation to your mum every day.
My missus is a mum.
Every day, not just
she wants me to celebrate it.
Whatever you do for Mother's Day,
do it every day.
Every single day.
Yeah.
So if she wants,
I don't actually celebrate
if she wants
Mother's
a
Day.
car, you buy a car every day. All right, simple as this. Go into debt.
Or buy a car, put it under her name with a loan.
That's it.
So that every time she pays it, she remembers you.
Yeah, and then when you miss a payment, she goes bankrupt.
Yeah.
That's it.
Or just sign her up for a guarantor for the loan.
Yeah.
That way you don't pay anything and she gets jail.
Or do an insurance job and let her deal with it. Alright, it was good catching up with you boys.
Thank you.
See yous.
Bye.